What's good? What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Muthana, and welcome to another great edition of The Rally. Today we are breaking down the greatness that is the championships at Wimbledon. We are into the finals. The semis have concluded, and we have our finalists. On the women's side, we have American Amanda Anisimova versus five-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek. And on the men's side, you guessed it, Taylor Fritz won. No, I'm kidding. No, absolutely not. Not gonna happen. We have Carlos Alcaraz versus Yannick Sinner, part deux. Because they played
What?
deux is like 30. Part deux.
I don't know what doi means.
Two is do, right? Part deux? No. Oh, I think deux is two. Part tres.
What language are you speaking?
French. I'm trying to speak French here.
Yeah, it's tres.
Part tres. Wait, what?
I'm fairly certain.
Like,
I'm fairly certain it's either tre or tres.
Okay. Three.
Whatever.
Part three. It's part three. Part three is coming about the second time ever facing each other in the final of a Grand Slam. The first time they did it was exactly a couple months ago at Roland Garros, where we had one of the greatest finals of the modern era. One of the greatest finals I ever watched.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was fantastic, and we get another round of it. But before we get into it, there's other news and notes around the grass, around the greens. Bjorn Borg showed up. That was massive news. So was Paddington Bear. He was there as well. So shout out to Paddington Bear.
Shout out to Ben Whishaw, the actor who voices Paddington Bear.
Yeah, shout out to
Ben. The one who was actually there.
Yeah, I like it's Paddington, man. It's cool, Ben Whishaw. But without further ado, we have the news and notes. Adelia, first news and note: chaos ensued at Wimbledon, right?
It did. Wimbledon's first 2 days saw a heat wave, the hottest first day on record, temperature-wise, at Wimbledon ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was just carnage in the draws for the top players.
Mm-hmm.
On the day one, the ATP lost Daniil Medvedev, Matteo Berrettini, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Holger Rune, and Francisco Cerundolo, all seeded players. Paolo Badosa lost on the WTA side.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tuesday continued the trend with Alexander Zverev losing. Lorenzo Musetti fell. And so did Coco Gauff, Jesse Pegula, and Qinwen Zhang. In total, 13 of the 32 ATP seeds and 10 of the WTA seeds, including 4 top 10 players from each draw, were eliminated after round one. Ferris, your thoughts?
Just pure unmitigated chaos, man. It goes back to like we were talking off air in our Discord, so join our Discord. It's free to the public. We talked about how grass is a tricky service to master, right? Mm-hmm. Because even on clay, clay, a lot of people grew up playing on clay. South Americans grew up playing on clay. Some of the Spanish players grew up playing on clay because of Madrid. But grass is very tricky because I haven't really heard someone say they grew up playing on grass.
Well, you kind of don't.
There's you can't.
Seasons,
exactly.
The way grass grows. And,
yes. Yeah. Exactly. So no one's ever really grew up playing on grass. So it's kind of tricky, right? Sometimes it just comes down to the simple phrase of either you got it or you don't. It's that simple, right? People, made the joke where I think Yannick or Carlos Alcaraz is gonna win Wimbledon on the men's side, and someone was like, "Oh, what about the women?" Anybody in the top 40.
I think that's in the top 50. Probably.
Anyone in the top 50. Even maybe a player that was in the 400s until 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So, and Amanda Anisimova.
She wasn't in the 400s until 2 weeks ago. She's the 16th seed.
But wasn't she in the 4? Oh, she was in the 400s
when she came back.
When she came back, yes. Yeah, my bad. I misread that.
Belinda Bencic was like outside the top 400 when she started the year, and she was also
semifinalist
back in the seeded players at the U.S. Open.
Yeah. Well, apparently, if you want to have a great Wimbledon run, have a baby.
I mean, that's one way. Or take 6 months off like Anisimova did.
Yeah, that too. Belinda Bencic, I think, is the third mother to have her baby come back and go to the semifinal of Wimbledon. I think that's the third one. So shout out to all the moms out there. Shout out to all the moms out there. Shout out to Bella Bencic, little baby. The only reason
So
I know
cute.
that, the only reason I know her name is she was on What the Vlog. Shout out to What the Vlog. But yeah, it was pure chaos, Adelia. It's just you got it or you don't got it, really. I mean, I remember Pete Sampras before was the grass goat, and then the guy named Roger showed up.
Yeah.
He failed on grass early on, and he was angry because he felt like he's being cheated because he thought grass shouldn't be allowed. He was very angry. He was like, "What is this?" And then somehow, some way, he figured it out,
Yeah.
and then won 7 Wimbledons somehow. I don't know what Pete Sampras
8.
did. I don't know what he did. I don't know what Paul Anacone helped him out with. I don't know.
Oh, you meant Sampras. I was
Yeah,
thinking
Sampras.
you meant Federer.
No. I'm talking about Sampras. Sampras was very upset. It was in his little mini documentary that the U.S. Open created. They talked about his Wimbledon days where he was very upset early on, where he didn't. He was like, this should be illegal. I hate grass. Why do we do this? This is awful. And then
And then he figured it out.
yeah, it clicked somehow. He just got it. He got it. Him and Paul Anacone did something. I don't know what they did, but they did. And I think a lot of players are like that. Either they have it or they don't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing with grass courts is that you either understand how to play on a grass court or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say people can't play on grass courts and
Or
do
learn.
well, because they can, and they can learn while they're doing that. But I heard on the tennis podcast, which everyone should check out because they've been doing daily recaps from Wimbledon
Mm-hmm.
that have been phenomenal, is that there's maybe 20 players between the two draws who actually truly know how to play on grass.
That's not a lot.
And there's 128 players in each draw.
That's not a lot,
It's
man.
not a lot.
That's not a lot.
So, carnage at Wimbledon is not unusual,
Mm-hmm.
but never to this degree before. This tied the record for the most seeds to fall in the first round of a Grand Slam.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we had what was her name? Marketa Vondrousova.
Very
that her?
good, Ferris.
Marketa Vondrousova. She won Wimbledon.
She did.
She won it, and I think she won. I think she won a grass tournament last week. I think did she win Queens? Did she win? I think she won Queens.
No, that's Tatiana Maria won Queens.
Then she won the other grass thing.
She probably won Eastbourne.
Eastbourne,
Oh,
probably yes. So she beat the favorite. Everyone thought Ons Jabeur was gonna win, and then Marketa Vondrousova beat her. And then the previous year, no offense to Ons Jabeur, she lost again to a, let's just say, out of nowhere player because I don't think
Out of nowhere Grand Slam winner. Elena Rybakina wasn't
yes.
an out of nowhere player, but
Yeah.
she definitely was not anyone's first choice to win that Grand Slam. This
exactly. It was Jabeur back-to-back favorite in both finals, and she lost to both of those girls. So yeah,
It's been up and down on
Yeah.
the WTA side for a long time. This is going to be our 9th straight different winner
mhm,
at Wimbledon.
yeah,
So yeah,
guaranteed.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because
Because
neither
also
Iga or Amanda, who are the finalists,
yes,
have won Wimbledon before.
also too Adelia, first Wimbledon final for Iga Swiatek. I think the only tournament she's never been in the final in.
Not
think
true.
she's been-
I don't think she's made the Australian Open final.
I thought she did.
No, she's made
No?
semis, but I don't think she's made the final.
Oh, okay. 'Cause she's won French 4 times. She's won the U.S. once. I know that.
Iga made the semis the year Ash Barty won,
Mhm.
but Daniel Collins beat her.
Ah. And then she lost to Madison Keys the year
in
Madison
the
Keys
semis
won.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, Swiatek. Some may say maybe her weaker surface. Maybe I don't know. If it
this
depends.
was clearly her weakest
Yes.
surface.
Okay.
Before this
Because I think prior to this, I think the best she's ever been was the 4th round.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think her and Coco have the same problem. I think their best placement was the 4th round. Coco still hasn't beaten that. But
Yeah.
now Swiatek has. But yeah, it's pure chaos. I love it. You don't know what you're gonna get. I love grass court season. That's what makes what Roger did phenomenal.
Yeah.
Dominating a kind of a niche a niche thing within a niche. Not I don't tennis is not niche. I don't want to say that. A niche surf, like I don't want to call it niche because it's Wimbledon and it's grass.
The surface you play the least on.
Yeah. Yeah, the surface you play the least on. Not a lot of people play on it. You can't really do grass year round. You only can do it for like
There are players from certain countries who take the grass court season off.
yeah. It's the boogie. It's the boogie person. I mean? It's the boogeyman underneath the bed. It's the monster in the closet. It humbles you. It humbles you. Rafa Nadal, big fans of Rafa Nadal, the rally pro Rafa. Grass kicked his butt.
He did have to take a little time to
Yeah.
figure it out when he came back from his injury.
Yeah.
But when he first played Wimbledon in 2003, he made it to the third round, the youngest player
Mhm.
to do it since Boris Becker.
Shout out to the homie Boris. Shout out to the homie Boris.
So he learned how to play
Yeah.
and he learned very fast compared to
Yes.
some others, because 2005 he was there, 2006 he was in the final,
Yeah.
or
That's why.
2007 he was in the final, one of the
That's why
two.
he's the goat. That's why he's the goat, man.
Yeah.
Rafa Nadal the goat. But from chaos to tragedy. Unfortunately, during Wimbledon, the Wimbledon players were honoring Portuguese soccer player Diego Jota and his brother Andre Silva. They both unfortunately passed away in a car accident a couple of days into the tournament. The All England club, known for its strict all white dress code, they amended it. If people wanted to honor Diego, a lot of it was black ribbons, and I believe also
No, they were black ribbons. They were
it
given
was black
permission to
ribbons.
wear black ribbons.
Yeah, over the armbands. I believe Portuguese players Nuno Borges and Francisco Cabrera.
Cabral.
Francisco Cabral. They wore it on Friday. And I quote from Nuno. He says, "So it was that or nothing,
No,
and it was a not."
this is Francisco.
Oh, this was Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Francisco. So he says, "So it was that or nothing, and it was an honor." He said. So yeah, it was so. We here also have a soccer podcast, starting 11.
11.
We talk about the Premier League a lot. Diego Jota was one of Liverpool's best players, a Liverpool Football Club. It was a tragedy, gone way too soon. And he was a phenomenal player, but from what I've heard, better human.
He had just gotten married to
Just gotten married.
the woman he shares 3 young children with.
Yes.
It's very sad. It's
Yeah.
incredibly tragic, for both him and his brother's family that I don't know anything about, but his brother's
Mhm.
family as well. It's tragic, and kudos to Wimbledon for saying, "Hey, if you want to wear the ribbons, you can." So
From being honored and showing love and affection to someone ripping a player apart. Delia, what did Goran Ivanisevic say about his former client?
is he his former client?
Yeah, he coached him for like a month, or I think like
Okay.
it was like one major tournament, and that was it.
Okay.
I think it was the U.S.
Uh,
Open. Oh no, the Australian Open, and then he quit.
No, because he was working with Rybakina at the Australian Open this year. So I think
Oh,
Ivanisevic is still working with Tsitsipas. I could be wrong
so,
about
so he's
that.
still his client though.
I've been a little detached from all
Yeah.
the news recently because of a lot of the personal stuff, so I might have missed that. But Goran criticized Stefanos Tsitsipas's poor fitness and preparation after Tsitsipas's first round Wimbledon loss. He was down 2 sets to love to Valentin Royer, who I had never heard of. And Tsitsipas had to retire due to injury. He said afterwards that he saw no point to competing. Even Isevic, however, stated that Tsitsipas's current condition is very poor, and he's attributed his slump to things outside of tennis, which possibly references very vague statement from Goran, but possibly referencing personal issues like Tsitsipas's relationship with his father, who he basically fired as his coach last year,
Hmm.
and rumors about his breakup with Paula Badosa. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the Sitsadosa might be over. They've deleted all references and pictures of each other from their Instagram accounts. Even Isevich believes Tsitsipas must resolve these issues to return to the top 10. Tsitsipas, for what it's worth, says that he has a back injury that is very similar to the back injury that Paulo Badosa had suffered a few years ago,
Hmm.
and that it's too hard to play and train right now. So, Ferris, your thoughts?
Translation: You're a loser, man. That's what Goran Ivanic basically said. You're a loser. You know, pretty much. And you know what? Good. More hard coaching. Some of these players need to be told the truth in all sports. Like you tell them, like, I mean, if you're playing bad, you be like, you stink right now, dog. And you stink not because you don't have the talent. You stink because you don't care. You stink because your head's not in the game. It ain't talent wise. Because talent, a lot of players have a lot of talent. The famous phrase is this: working hard beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't working hard and you talented, you're not gonna win. Because sometimes your
Yeah.
talent doesn't get you that far. You'll beat the less talented players. But when you're going up against Novak Djokovic, Nadal, who have the same amount of talent as you, by the way, in their late 30s, by the way, I want to point that out. In their late 30s with multiple injuries, that should be say something about how you don't take the game seriously when you're just as talented as them, but you don't care.
Here's
Man,
the thing about Tsitsipas, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
he was one of the first of that generation that showed he could beat the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Fed in an Australian quarterfinal. He made it to the French Open final and took Djokovic to 5 sets, going 2 sets to love up on him, and he should have
Mm-hmm.
won it, but he did. He just couldn't
Mm-hmm.
finish it off. Um, to see him now just fading so badly, you got to wonder what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
we have talked on this show or in our Discord, I don't remember where, about his relationship with his father and how it kind of was pretty toxic. And reportedly, he doesn't get along with his father anymore. And that's got to be really hard for him because, his father was his coach for so long.
Mm-hmm.
His father, I heard, I read, was not exactly thrilled about Tsitsipas firing him as the coach. And if, you know, as much as we don't cover this stuff on this show, if he has broken up with Paula, that's got to be getting to Stefanos too, because he's a
Mm-hmm.
very sensitive, introspective kind of guy.
Yeah.
So he needs to regain his health if this back injury is as bad as he says it is. And then maybe while he's regaining his health, he can regain his focus because his focus seems to be all over the place right now.
Yeah, because I found out a story because of the Badosa thing where I know this it's about relationships, but it's a different sport. I was third baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies, Mike Schmidt, legendary player. He got divorced in the middle of his career.
Mm-hmm.
He says it took me 2 years to recover because you know that's getting divorced. Your life is being uprooted and destroyed as you see. That
Yeah,
could
the
be
emotional
yeah,
upheaval of the end of a relationship cannot be discounted.
yeah.
And like Tsitsipas and Badosa were very much together. There's a whole documentary on Tennis Channel Plus about them going to Iceland together. Like there's lots of
Mm-hmm.
they did a lot of things together, and yeah,
Yeah,
it seems like it's wrecked
yeah.
Stefanos, whatever is going on. If it's Badosa,
If it's
if
the
it's
back,
if it's the back, if it's his father, like whatever it is,
could be
it
all three at
seems
the same time, which would
it
be
could
a
be.
triple whammy.
Yeah.
And then you have your coach
So
basically call you a loser on top of it.
yeah,
So
I get where Goran is coming from because he's
yeah.
got that very, you know, I'm here to fix the technical stuff and you're not
Mm-hmm.
putting in the work kind of
Yes.
vibe
Yes.
to it. But sometimes you just got to do like what Amanda Anisimova did and step away for a little
Stop
while
playing.
and get yourself right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be honest, that's a good thing to do in any sport, any walk of life. If you are going through too much and you have the ability to take a step back for a while and get yourself right.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. More heartbreak at Wimbledon. This
Oh
time it's
yeah.
on court. Unfortunately, it struck our boy Gregor Dimitrov. Um, he had to retire from his fifth consecutive major appearance, injuring his right pec while up 2 sets. It's 2 sets to love, by the way.
That's the most heartbreaking thing
Yeah,
about this whole
yeah. He's up 2 sets to love on world number one Yannick Sinner. Sinner ends up moving on through injury retirement to face Ben Shelton. Um, that wasn't a match. He expressed sympathy for Dimitrov for string of unfortunately Sinner came over immediately to check on his opponent. He tried to laugh off the matter, but you can't really laugh it off, man. It's just
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
Grigor was very much trying to like as soon as Yannick went over to him, he was like, it's my peck, it's my peck. And he was trying to like stay positive, I think, but
Yeah,
it's hard to.
it's hard to. Medical staff came out, evaluated him, couldn't
That
go
was it.
through. So it was a 3-6, 5-7, 2-2 victory for Sinner. Um, Dimitrov said, sometimes the heart wants to keep going, but the universe has a different plan for us. Having to withdraw from this match at Wimbledon was one of the most painful moments of my career. Thank you all for the overwhelming wave of love from family, friends, fans, colleagues, to the entire tennis community. Your messages have generally lifted me through these hard times. Thank you all truly. Recovery starts now. I'll see you soon. It was heartbreaking because imagine if Dimitrov made it through. It would have been Dimitrov Shelton. Shelton could have maybe beaten Dimitrov, or Dimitrov beats Shelton, and we get
Look,
Gregor against Djokovic. We don't know what's gonna happen.
this is Grigor's best chance at Wimbledon,
Yeah.
especially at his age. He's like what, 35 now?
Yes.
Um it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, man.
And Yannick Sinner is a lucky, lucky man to be in the finals
Yeah.
because um, he was on the way out when
Yeah,
that
his
happened.
elbow, his elbow in the match. He
He
hurt his.
fell in the first game of the match and got a bone bruise on his elbow, and he was just
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable for the entire match. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that that's it because Grigor was also really causing a lot of damage with the slice.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to the semifinal today, but I really thought Djokovic would try to employ the slice a lot more, and it just didn't happen and didn't
Mm-hmm.
work today when he did. So, um, we wish Grigor all the best. This is probably a lengthy, lengthy recovery for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when he could possibly be back. I haven't heard anyone speculating on how long he's out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it happened on his the arm that he uses mainly for serving and forehands,
Yep.
so he couldn't have kept playing.
No. Good enough. It just wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah,
Wasn't happening. It's not Cody Rhodes wrestling. You know what I mean? That's just not happening. It
yeah,
was torn. You can't swing down. It's not like too much, not enough muscle tension, so it's over. And Yannick Sinner, man, lucky, lucky man. Got the bone bruise, got the early retirement, got the day to relax and heal the bone bruise. And then, then the next match, he's wearing a sleeve, healed up, takes out Ben Shelton. Because of course. And then he's against Novak Djokovic. Djokovic injured in the previous match against Fabio Cavalli,
Caboli.
Caboli, basically like almost tears his groin area in half.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
don't know. We don't really know what
yeah,
Djokovic injured. He didn't say. He
yeah.
skipped his practices, went out there today against Sinner. He had that determined look that he was going to finish the match.
No, he was at practice, but he didn't. He did
He did not
stationary.
practice yesterday at all.
Oh, yesterday. I meant today. My bad. Today he practiced in the morning, where he just did stationary stuff around the net with a junior tennis player he found
Hmm.
somewhere, or they
Well,
asked. You know,
I'm sure he requested
yeah.
someone.
So yeah, so he was doing just stationary work. He wasn't really moving. So that was probably, and then guess what happened? We'll talk about it in a bit. It wasn't really a match, but we
We'll
keep
talk
moving.
about
We
it.
keep
Yeah.
moving. Let's talk about the best part of Wimbledon, the fans. Adelia, what did the fans do today, or overall these past 2 weeks?
Well, the Wimbledon spectators ate a ton of strawberries, mostly with cream.
Nice.
The estimate is over 35 tons of strawberries eaten during the fortnight. And Iga Swiatek took notice of this and mentioned in one of her on-court interviews that she likes eating pasta with strawberries and a little yogurt. I'm not going to try to pronounce what it's called in Polish. She urged fans to try it and later posted a picture of the dish on Instagram. I've come around to this a little bit more when I have learned that it is a dessert, but someone who did not fly for this at all is Flavio Caboli, the Italian who was playing Djokovic.
Hmm.
Um, he talked to Steve Weissman and John Wertheim on Tennis Channel and said, I talked with her yesterday. I told her, what did you do? Now they want to try strawberry and pasta. I wouldn't want to be in her position. I wish good luck for her when she comes back to Italy. They asked him which is the greater culinary offense, pineapple on pizza or strawberries with pasta. And he said, she said yogurt on pasta, so this is worse. I tried pineapple and it's not so bad.
Oh my god, just
This pineapple strawberries pasta thing has been everywhere.
yeah.
It's in the press conferences. They've been getting, like I said, the Italian players, you know, um, positions on this.
I kind of want
They
to try it
asked
now.
Ludmila Samsonova about it because she was born in Italy, and she was like, "No."
I want to try it. I want to try it. I want to see what the Polish people got. I want to see
I
what the
have
Polish
been
people got going on.
told the key is to let the pasta cool before you put on the yogurt and the strawberries because it's a dessert. It's not meant to be a hot
Hot.
meal. So,
Well, some desserts are hot.
well, yeah, but this one's not.
Okay. I kind of want to try it now. I kind of want to try it now. Do they know what yogurt? What strawberries?
Yogurt and strawberries
What, like a
and
specific
pasta.
yogurt, or just like any yogurt?
I don't know. I just heard yogurt and strawberries
We need to go
on
to Poland.
pasta.
We need to go to Poland
I don't know that we need to go to Poland. We can just try it at home.
but it won't be authentic.
Ferris, we're not going to Poland.
Never say never.
I'm not going to Poland just to try this strawberry pasta thing.
No lie, I would if they invited me. I would do it. I get on a plane like today, but we're not there yet. One
No.
day, one day. But what's funny about the speaking of the spectators, right? We're talking about the spectators and them eating pasta and strawberries and all this. Man, I have popping champagne in the middle of serves.
Yeah, what on earth is wrong with
What
some
are
of these
you doing?
people?
What are you doing? You know,
That happened today again, didn't it? And they had to be like,
no. Okay,
please
so
don't
no,
do
it
that.
did, but it happened when they were coming back from a changeover. So they were walking to the serve, then they popped it. Anna Samova, she threw it up and
Yeah.
pop. This one happened when Fritz was walking towards the serve. He hadn't served
Hmm.
yet. He was walking to it. So yeah, it was not the same, but it was similar, but not the same. Anna Samova literally was like, "You had to do that right now?" Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, she was
So,
irritated, but like she also kind of wanted to laugh. But she was like
yeah.
really irritated, like, really, really. See, Paddington is very ashamed of you right now. You know, what I mean that you shouldn't do that.
But can we call him Ben Wishaw? He's not
Yeah, all right.
Paddington.
Well, he is. Shout out to Ben
He's the
Wishaw, by the way.
voice of Paddington.
He's Paddington. It's like Ben Schwartz is Sonic.
He's Ben
Yeah.
Schwartz.
All right, fine, Adelia. You're right. But yeah, man. Also, to Adelia, another thing. People passing out left and right.
It's been very hot in the UK. They're having heat waves that they're not
Yeah,
used to having, temperatures rising, and they just don't know how to prepare to sit outside in those temperatures.
two
So
people.
there's been a lot of people throughout the course of the tournament who have required medical help in the stands.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Wimbledon medical teams for getting
Mm-hmm.
to them quickly. Arena Sabalenka was running over water to people yesterday when
Fred's
it
did
was
it twice.
happening.
Fred's did it twice.
Um,
In the
she
Fritz match, two people passed out in a span of 5 minutes,
yeah.
5 to 8 minutes.
See, the thing about these later stage matches on center court is that the ticket holders are usually older.
That's what Chris Fowler said.
Yeah. I
Chris
mean, it's
Fowler and
true.
yeah, Chris Fowler in the macros basically said we have a lot of old people in the crowds. That's what's happening. They're passing out left and right.
Well, I mean, it's the truth.
Oh, it
Because
is. It
as you
is.
get to the later stages, the ticket costs go up,
Yes.
and it's generally
Older
not
people have disposable
younger
incomes.
people that
Yeah.
have as much disposable income.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
let's
He's
talk
like,
about something else.
yeah. Let's talk about
Let's wish all the people that have needed medical attention well, and
yes.
talk about something else.
As well, let's also wish a phenomenal career to Fabio Fognini. What happened to Adelia?
hmm Fabio Fognini, former top 10 player from Italy, of course. He announced earlier this year that he was going to retire at the end of the year, but did a press conference Wednesday and said, "Nope, I'm done now." The decision came after his 5-set loss in the first round to two-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. He pushed Alcaraz for over 4.5 hours on center court, ultimately losing with a score of 7-5, 6-7-5, 7-5, 2-6, 6-1. He held the news conference, like I said, confirming his immediate departure from the sport and stated, "It's the best way to say goodbye." And you know what? That's probably the best match Fabio has played in a long time. He's lost 10 straight matches on the ATP tour. So I think this is probably best for him. He can go home now to Flavia
Mm-hmm.
Panetta and their kids and have a good life.
Phenomenal. And then on Tuesday, deal we kind of had a kind of a swap. Coach Conchita Martinez and Mira Andreeva swapped roles. The number 7 seed became a one woman cheering squad, bringing energy from the stands on court 16 to support her coach. Conchita, during her Legends Invitational mixed doubles match, even coached her up.
Yeah.
Even
I put a
coached her up.
picture, Ferris. I didn't tell you this before we
Oh,
started. I put a picture, so it should be the top thing under layers. Just turn it on for a minute.
uh,
There we go. There's
there it
Mira.
is.
She decorated this hat with a bunch of pins and she made the sign herself and had a good time. So
Yep, yep.
there's Mira.
Conchita, I believe, one-time Wimbledon champion or two-time.
I don't know how many times Conchita won Wimbledon, if she won Wimbledon at all. Let's look.
Conchita Martinez, I got you. Conchita has won Wimbledon in '94.
Here we go.
Yep, won Wimbledon. Two other.
First Spaniard to win the women's singles title at Wimbledon.
Yep, yep. She also made a final in French and made a final at the Australian and two semis at the US. So shout out to Conchita. She's a tremendous. I quite enjoy her because I watch What the Vlog a lot, and Daria Kazakina. She hangs out with Mary Andreeva and her team a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to see the full aspect of tour life. I really, if you're big into tennis and you really want to see the behind the scenes aspect and players interactions, watch What the Vlog, because the rule with Daria Katsukina, their rule is whoever walks by and shows up and wants to pop on, well, you can pop on. That's like their kind of the rule. And they have their friends, but they also talk to other people. They walk around. If you see them, they really, you can talk to, like Carlos Alcaraz walked by once, said hi as he kept walking, because it's Carlos Alcaraz. He had stuff to do probably. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she probably talked to Gregor. She talks to him a lot. But into Bencic, she talks to a lot. So like, yeah, man, shows a good behind the scenes stuff, and I quite enjoy it.
Yeah,
They
it's
went to
great.
Roehampton at the begin, like their Wimbledon vlog drop. They went to
Mm-hmm.
Roehampton. One of her
For
friends is
qualies.
for qualies. Yeah, one of her friends was in qualies. So we saw Roehampton and the way it operated and stuff like that, and like did the access. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, good shout out to them. But Adelia,
Hmm.
doubles queen.
She is really.
Yep, Katerina Siniakova and
Hmm.
Sem Verbeek clinched
Verbeek.
the Verbeek clinched the Wimbledon mixed doubles title on Thursday, beating Luisa Estefana and Joel Salisbury.
Louisa Stephanie.
Luisa Estefani and Joel Salisbury 7-6, 7-6. Went to tie break. Uh, it was a 3-3. This
3-3
victory adds another major
tiebreak.
title to Siniakova's impressive collection, marking her 11th Grand Slam overall, including 10 women's doubles titles. The Czech player secured the win with a decisive smash on the first match point on the vibrant, albeit not full, center court. For Verbeek, a Dutchman, this is his inaugural major title. He celebrated by leading the crowd in a rendition of Happy Birthday to You to his father, whose birthday it was.
Yeah.
So
This
shout
was
out to
actually really cool to watch.
Verbeek's dad. But also, speaking of someone's birthday, let's get right into one of the semifinals on the women's side. We are talking Arina Sabalenka and Amanda Anisimova. It was Amanda Anisimova's nephew's birthday.
36 minutes in, and
Yeah,
we're
30.
getting to the semifinals. We
Yes.
talk too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Anisimova's nephew's 4th birthday.
Yep.
Special day for
Shout out to
him.
Jackson.
Special day for Amanda Anisimova.
Hey, Maydelia, what happened?
Anisimova came out, won the first set 6-4.
2 breaks, I believe.
I don't know if it was 2 breaks,
Oh.
but they might have traded breaks.
Mm.
Sabalenka rebounded, won the second set 6-4. Anisimova came out, got immediately broken at the start of the third set, and then broke back and broke again, and got up. I think she was up 5-2 when she had the first match points, and then Arena saved those and got broke. Well, no, she got broken serving for the match, and then she broke Arena and won the match, and she looked shocked. Ferris, you have some stats you want to talk about, or?
Yes, absolutely. In the aces category, Arina Sabalenka had 6-2 advantage. We kind of saw that coming. The double faults, actually, Amanda Anisimova had more with 5-4. First serve in percentages, Sabalenka had 68%, while Anisimova had 63%. First serve points won, though, 67 for Arena, 60 for Anisimova. And then, but here's the key right there. Second serve points won, 44% for Arina Sabalenka, 60% for Anisimova. Net points were dead even, 55%, 6 out of 11. And break points, it was 3 for 14 for Sabalenka, it was 4 for 11 for Anisimova, 36% to 21%. And then we have winners, 31-30, unforced errors, 42 Anisimova, 37 for Sabalenka, but total points won 108-106. I believe the key was the second serve win percentage right there. It was 44% to 60%. Anisimova kept consistency on both serves 1 and 2, but Sabalenka dipped when she had to serve the second time around. That's always been the key. Always the key about Sabalenka. She's a power hitter. Throughout the match, they were talking about how they were both power hitters. But one thing about Sabalenka is the one thing that always goes if stuff doesn't go her way is her serve. And that's what happened when she had to do the second serve, having to play the points in. It didn't really go her way. And that usually happens with her, because that also happened with her against Coco. So it was kind of, rinse and repeat. Anisimova becomes the third American woman to be in a final. 2 of the last 3 have won those finals. So let's see if she's more Madison Keys, Coco.
Both majors so far this year have been won by Americans.
Yes, Madison Keys in Australia, Coco in the French. And let's see if we can do it for a third time around with Amanda Anisimova, because the women carry the U.S. soccer scene. Yeah.
U.S. soccer scene.
U.S. tennis scene. They also carry the U.S. soccer scene as
They
well.
do also carry the
Yeah.
soccer scene, yeah,
Yes.
but that's not what we're talking about right
Yes.
now. Amanda Anisimova has come a long way
It's been through a
since
lot.
she's been through a lot. Her dad, of course, died when she was 17. Shock. Uh, she took some time off, came back, and then just didn't feel like she wanted to be in the tennis world anymore. So she took a mental health break starting in May of 2023. Uh, Stepped away from the court, didn't pick up a racket for 4 months. And now she came back January 2024. She's worked her way back. She's gotten into the top 20 and she's going to make her top 10 debut regardless of what
Hmm.
happens um, tomorrow against Iga.
Yep.
Um, I'm so happy for her.
That'll be 3 American women in the top 10.
Yeah.
If she, I think Coco's
P-
2,
Kogo's 2, Pagula's
Gula
3.
3, and
I
Asimova
don't
will
know
be
if
10.
Pagula's still going to be 3 at the
She'll,
end of this,
I think she'll probably
but she'll still
fall.
be in the top 10.
Yeah. Because I don't think Madison Keys is in the top 10.
I think hang on. Let's pull up the WTA rankings.
Yeah, the active rankings.
Not the projected, but the active ones. Actual rankings.
The live rankings.
Are you pulling up the live rankings?
I got it right here for you if you want me to. I
Well,
got
I
it right
was going to
here.
look up the official rankings prior to Wimbledon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that. I have the live rankings right now as it stands,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what happens. Um, it's Sabalenka, and there's Coco, Jessica. I guess Swiatek doesn't go up. Um,
No, you definitely are looking at something that's not the live rankings.
but this is live rankings as of 4/12 today.
Because there's already 4 Americans in the top 10 prior to this tournament.
Yeah, and I think who was the person with who wasn't Amanda?
Emma Navarro.
Oh, okay,
It was
well,
Coco, Jesse, Madison Keys, and Emma Navarro.
okay, well, the live rankings Emma drops to 11.
Probably to make room for Amanda.
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny enough. It's Coco, Jessica at 2 and 3, and Amanda and Madison at 7 and 8. You
Yeah.
know, and then you have Quinwin Zhang and Mira Andreeva at 5 and 6, and then round out the top 10. It's Jasmine Paulini and Paula Badosa at 9 and 10. So yeah,
Yeah, Paolini fell a lot
yeah,
because she lost her finalist points.
yeah.
She lost in the second round.
Mm.
I'm so
So yeah,
happy for Amanda.
4 American women in the top 10. Yeah,
5 in the top 11. That's
five in the
pretty good.
top 11. Well, usually you go from 10 to 15. Say 5 in the top 15, because 5 in the top 11 just don't sound not right.
Well, it's 5 in the top 11, so
Yeah,
we're just
5 in
going
the
to
top
say
11.
that.
Yeah.
Amanda has a really good head-to-head against Arena. I think she's 5-3 against her now. This was the first
Yes.
time they'd ever played on grass.
Mm-hmm.
I knew going in that Amanda could beat her because she's done it before. She's proven before that she
Is this
can
the
beat
first time
her.
they played at a major?
No, because they
Okay.
definitely played at the Australian Open
Okay.
a couple of times.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
happy for her, and I hope that she goes out there tomorrow and she holds her nerve and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
get so nervous she can't play.
Absolutely.
I would understand that she's going to be nervous,
Mm-hmm.
but I hope she just takes the opportunity.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the matchup with her and Iga, which is who we'll talk about in a second, Iga's semifinal, which was very different than Amanda's semifinal.
Yep.
Iga and Amanda have never played at the tour level. They haven't played since they were juniors in
Mm.
Junior Fed Cup on a clay court, which
Mm.
Iga won.
Of
Um,
course.
but it's just great to see Amanda at this stage of a tournament. She made the French Open finals when she was 17,
Yeah.
and she's just never quite gotten back to here because she's been through a lot. And like we were talking about with Sitsipas, it takes an emotional toll on you. that sometimes you need to step back to recover from.
Yep.
And kudos to her for doing that and saying, tennis is where I want to be. I want to play again. Um, and she's back, and I'm so thrilled because I love Amanda Anisimova. I think she's got a great personality, and I think she's got a great perspective on what is important and what isn't when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to tennis.
Semi-final
And
at the French Open.
yeah, I said semifinal at the French
Yeah.
Open
Oh
when
my
she was
bad.
17.
I heard final. My apologies.
No, no, semifinal of the French Open when she was 17.
Yeah. Ash
So
Barty won that
mhm.
against Marketa Vandrousova, by the way. So
Yeah,
yeah, so shout out to Marketa making another final. But yeah, let's talk about the I guess the other match, if you want to call it
it
that.
was a match.
Okay.
It was not a competitive match, but it was a match.
Yeah. So how did Iga Swiatek dominate Belinda Bencic, Adelia?
Well, first off, let's shout out Belinda Bencic
Yes.
for playing with a cracked toenail
What?
that they had to cut a hole in her shoe
Ooh.
to accommodate for, to
Ow.
lessen the pressure. So shout out to her for taking the court because I wouldn't walk for 2 months if that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
She went out there and it was just all Iga. She tried. Belinda tried. You could tell she was in pain pushing off with that foot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Iga dominated. She won 6-2, 6 love. I mean, I haven't seen a Grand Slam semifinal that one sided in a while. It's not because Belinda can't play, because she obviously can,
She's injured.
but she just couldn't do anything against
No.
Iga. Some stats from this: Iga had 2 aces, Belinda none. Iga 2 double faults, Belinda 1. Iga made 68% of first serves, Belinda 63%. Here's the thing that won the match: Iga won 83% of her first serves.
Mm-hmm.
Belinda won 52%.
There it is right there.
Yeah. Second serves were not much better. Iga won 43%, Belinda only 31.
Mm-hmm.
Iga won all her net points. She won 5 of 8 of her break points. Bencic was 0 for 2.
Yep.
Um, Receiving points won. Iga won 24 of 43 for 56%. Uh, Bencic won 13 of 44 for 30%. So the returns game of Iga was where she won this match.
Yep.
Iga had 26 winners to 13 unforced errors. Belinda had 11 winners to 8 unforced errors. Iga won 55 total points. Bencic won 32. It was sad to watch this, honestly, especially after how great that first semifinal was.
Yeah.
Iga has figured out how to play on grass. They were talking about how
It's a problem.
her losing before the final at the French Open meant that for once they could go work on some grass stuff. She didn't play a grass court
Yes.
tournament
Yes.
until the third week of the grass court season. She played in Bad Homburg. She made the final there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she came to Wimbledon and she's just figured it out. She's never been this good on grass before. She's going into her 6th major final tomorrow. She's won the previous 5. 4 at the French Open and 1 at the US Open.
Yep, she's undefeated, just like Carlos Alcaraz. Someone put out a tweet saying, "Is someone's O gonna go?" Carlos Alcaraz is 5-0 in major finals. Same
Yeah.
thing with Iga Swiatek. She's also 5-0. So Adelia, I'm gonna ask you: are they both 5-0?
Well, yes, they're
Well,
obviously both 5-0.
my bad. I mean, let me rephrase that. I'll ask that question afterwards when we talk about the men's side. Let's transition over to the men, where we had.
Hang on, before we do, I want
Okay,
to
hit
talk a
me.
little bit more about this.
Give me.
Bencic is a great player, but she doesn't have a ton of power. Anisimova has way more power than she has. So
Mm-hmm.
while Ego is able to bully Bencic around,
I don't think
she's
she's gonna.
not going to be able to do that with Anisimova, I don't think.
Sabalenka couldn't do that to Anna Samova, so Swiatek
Exactly.
is definitely not going to do that to Anna Samova.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So I want Amanda to win.
Same.
I do. I just think that'd be so great for her and for American tennis. And either way,
Three
we should
Americans
get we should.
up, three Americans down. Let's go. Let's make it 3 for 3, baby.
I think that either way, we're going to get a good final tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I
My
really
dream.
do think Anna Samova has enough perspective to be able to hold her nerve.
Yeah. My dream is for the U.S. Open to be 4 American women in the semifinals.
That'd be cool.
Like Coco, Anna Samova, Madison Keys, and the fourth one could be
Jessie,
Jessie or Emma, I guess.
Emma.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my dream. Because unfortunately, the other side can't give me nothing to root for.
Well, let's talk about that, Ferris.
Let's talk about that, Adelia.
Carlos Alcaraz versus Taylor Fritz. Give me your impressions of this match.
Amazing. It was tremendous.
I should say before we get too far into this, I only saw like the last parts of the final set.
Yeah.
I was out doing errands and things while this was going on. So, I haven't heard I have heard, I mean, that this was Taylor's best grass court match ever.
It was. And that's the problem. It still wasn't enough. Because
Yeah.
it was literally margins, Adelia. Margin. Set number 1. He got broken once. And that's that. And that was it. He chose to serve first. That's what Fritz wants to do. He wanted to probably set the tempo of the game. He served first. Carlos broke him first, and then that was it. That was it. That was the end. And from that point on, he was fighting back. He was fighting back. Then in the second serve, the second game, set number 2. Well, no, second game.
Second game or second set?
Second set. He's down a set. He's down 1 set. I don't know what happens with Carlos at the end of that set where it's Adelia, they're going back and forth. It's service games. They're winning each other's service games. Carlos wins his.
Yeah, I heard there was only 4 deuces in this entire.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of deuces. Second set, it was literally I win my service game, you win your service game. I win my service game, you win your service game. Fritz wins his 6th service game. You know how it's, when it goes up to 5, you got to win by, 7. And then Carlos brain farts. And he loses 7-5. Just a complete brain fart. And just just completely loses it. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Could that be a thing? Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if it was in set 2 or 3 where something gets into his eye. Something gets into his eye. He says, something's in my eye. I need someone to flush it out. But then he tells the ump, it's fine. I'm going to play this game. Then you can get something from my eye. I think he lets Fritz win that game. Because he's like, whatever. He probably was like, it's Taylor Fritz. I don't really care. So he then goes.
I don't know about that. Carlos takes his opponent.
No, I think he takes him seriously, but I also think he's very confident in himself, saying, I'm Carlos Alcaraz.
I think he was confident in saying, like, I can get a break back here or whatever. Exactly. But I wouldn't say it's Taylor Fritz, so I don't care.
No, I know. I spoke in some hyperbole. Then, he drains his eye out, then he comes back. And then in game number 3, set number 3, is just like set number 1. Carlos takes over. He gets a break. I believe let me see. Does he get a break or 1 break? Or 2 breaks. Let me double check. I want to double check this. He hits 2 breaks. He breaks him twice. He wins 6-3. Basically, it's deja vu. And then in set number 4, it literally did deja vu. Set 1, 6-4. 7-6. And then 6-3. And then the last one, we go to a tiebreak. Fritz is doing it. I win 1, you win 1. I win 1, you win 1. And it's it. And it's in the service game. Then it was 4-1 Alcaraz. I'm like, it's over. It's over.
This is the part that I saw.
It's over. It's 4-1. Fritz doesn't have it. It's over.
Yeah.
Fritz rattles off 5 straight points, Adelia. It's 6-4.
Mm-hmm.
He needs
1 point.
1 point 1 point. That's all he needs. 1 point. 2 match points, basically.
It's not match points, set points.
No, set point. He hit 2 set points. Completely. He hits a serve. He completely doesn't do his game anymore. He then tries to drop shot a point. Because he's up. He tries to drop shot a point. But then as he drop shots it, Taylor Fritz isn't the fastest guy on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Alcaraz, boom, cross court volley gets him. And he can't do nothing. And completely abandons his game. And then the second point, he serves it. The entire announcers, the McEnroes and Chris, I agreed what they were saying. Go big. Go big. He doesn't go big on this serve. He plays it in.
Nerves.
It's nerves. He plays it in. Carlos returns it phenomenally. Mm-hmm. And then Fritz tries to either I'm getting it mixed up with a point. He does something where he hits it and it hits the post. And it's 6-6.
Yeah.
And then Carlos just said, boom, boom, 8, it's over. 8-6, just like that.
8-6, yeah.
It was I think it was back-to-back serves. It was 2 serves. It was like boom, boom.
Probably.
It was over.
Yeah.
And I turned the match off before that lady said game, set, match. Because I was sick to my stomach. Because you were down 4-1. I thought you were dead.
Yeah. Taylor's going to be haunted by those points for a while.
5 straight points. Boom. 5 straight points. 2 set points. And he messes up his serve. The thing that was keeping him in the game, because I usually don't, because the McEnroes may sound annoying, but sometimes they say some valid stuff. They kept telling him, you got to go big. You got to throw out the conventional wisdom of you got to go big. You can't let him play the points because you got to basically become a serve bot, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Me and you, not big fans of the serve bots. They're not very good. It's these, aesthetically pleasing tennis. It's not very cool. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you gotta throw away the fans' opinions on aesthetic tennis, and you gotta win the match.
Yeah.
And he was doing something he doesn't usually do because he's not a serve bot, but he has a big serve. And I think at the end he reverted. Oh, Adelia's gone. But at the end, Fritz reverted back to his original ways, and he tried to play the points. He tried to play the points, and it just didn't work. And
he got too cute when he needed to execute instead.
Just pounded, man. Because also, too, one of the points, he did a body serve, where it's like you serve it towards the middle instead of the wide. Mm-hmm. He went to the middle. But but the reason he got the points back is that he kept the serve wide. He made Carlos reach, just like Fritz isn't the fastest guy on court, Carlos isn't the longest guy on the court. So he's going to have to jump to return the serve. And when Fritz would hit a perfect serve,
to hit the corners.
Yeah.
And he put it in the middle of the box. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a good decision. He messed up. And because throughout the match, Adelia, when he kept the serve wide and it was in wide, Alcaraz had to jump. He had to jump and get it. And there were times where Carlos would jump and he would miss it. He missed it. He missed it multiple times. Carlos had to back up a bunch of times, had to back up, move a little left. He was forcing him to back up. And he should have saw because Carlos at that point wasn't that much back. He was basic, standard, baseline. And then when he hit it towards the middle corner, Carlos had enough jump to get it. But he should have kept it wide because returning that way is it's hard. Just because Novak's done it a couple times doesn't mean everybody can do it. Carlos got one in one of the matches. He got 1 or 2, but he didn't get a lot. Mm-hmm. You punished him. He He had to fly. He had to fly to get it. And you
Yeah.
were it's just I hope Fritz is okay. He's probably beating himself up in the hotel room. You know, his mom was there. His, Morgan was there. His team was there. He's probably hitting himself because he knows he had it right there. We go to a set number 5. You don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
because you know fatigue. Both people's serves were decreasing in velocity. They started off at 127 and 124 respectively, and they dipped to 107, 104 respectively. So Fritz still had the serve advantage, but he should just pounded the corner and made Carlos jump, and it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a better match than the second semifinal was.
What happened to?
Yannick Sinner destroyed Novak Djokovic.
Yep, pretty much.
Um, Straight sets for, I believe, the second straight major. He knocks Djokovic out in the
Yep.
semifinals in straight sets.
Yep.
I could share you statistics, but the only statistic that really matters is second serve points won, Ferris.
Mm-hmm.
Sinner won 65% of his second serve points, or 63% of his second serve points.
Mm-hmm.
Djokovic won 17% of his second serve
Right there.
points. That's it.
Right there.
Sinner had 10 break points. He took 5 of them. Djokovic managed to get 1 of 2.
Mm-hmm.
36 winners for Sinner, 27 for Djokovic, 17 unforced errors for Sinner, 28 for Djokovic. Sinner won 25 more points in this match than Djokovic did. Djokovic clearly hampered by whatever he injured in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
And he said some interesting things after this match. But before we get to the interesting things, Ferris, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't competitive whatsoever. There was very little resistance. Set number 3, he goes up 3-love. You thinking, oh shoot, 3-love, but he quickly loses it
Mm-hmm.
right away. He only wins one more game. He lost 6-4 in the third set. They showed a replay of what happened to him in the Fabio
Quarterfinal.
the quarterfinal, where he slips. It looked bad.
It looked bad, yeah.
It looked bad. We don't know what it was. We don't know what it was.
Yeah.
He called the physio over. The physio was working on his lower extremities. It could be a thigh,
A
could be
thigh, the
a
groin,
groin,
something.
a knee. Because
I don't think it was his knee. I think that would have been taped.
yeah,
But
yeah. So yeah, so it's probably somewhere like a groin or a thigh, and you need movement in that area because you're moving side to side and up and down. So you need not elasticity, but like you want a smooth. You don't want tightness there. It really hurts. Like I've played with it. I played football, like American football, with it, and it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. You can't really run. You can't really run at all, and it's dangerous.
yeah.
So yeah.
So Djokovic after the match went to his press conference, which was packed. First, we should say he didn't do the thing he did at Roland Garros, which was act like it was maybe his last time on the court.
Mm-hmm.
He said it wasn't really a pleasant feeling on the court. Disappointed that I wasn't just able to move as well as I thought or hoped I
Mm-hmm.
would. He was asked about his unfortunate series of injuries, and Djokovic, who's 38 years old, uh, chalked it up to the famously undefeated opponent of everyone, Father Time. He said, I don't think it's bad fortune. It's just age, the wear and tear of the body. As much as
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking care of it, the reality hits me right now, last year and a half, like never before. You want to play, you're determined, but then the body doesn't want to listen. That's it. He also said, playing best of 5, particularly this year, has been a real struggle for me physically. The longer the tournament goes, the worse the condition gets. Um, he didn't hint at a final goodbye. He made it even clearer in his press conference that he hopes it's not his last match on center court. He's not planning to finish his Wimbledon career today. He's planning to come back at least one more time
Mm-hmm.
and play on center court for sure. He said it's frustrating to get to the business end of a major and not have enough for the biggest matches against the best opponents. This is a quote. I reached the final stages. I reached the semis of every slam this year, but I have to play Sinner or Alcaraz.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are fit, young, sharp. I feel like I'm going into the match with the tank half empty. So it's sounding like next year could possibly be Djokovic's last year on tour.
Yep. He's not long for the tennis world.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And he's right.
he's right.
Someone's undefeated. The only thing undefeated in life is Father Time.
Father time.
Father Time and the Grim Reaper. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens like look what happened to Rafa.
Mm-hmm.
His legs just couldn't do it. His
Fed's knee.
Fed's knee was done. He just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. Like it's over. It's done. Like your body tells you it's over, man. Here's the thing, Adelia. In all of sports, you don't retire on your own terms. You don't, really. Very few people. Very few people. And that's because they left a little earlier than people thought they would. But most people don't retire on their terms. The sport tells you it's over.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you. You could say Bjorn Borg left on his own terms. But Bjorn probably left a little early. He probably had a couple more years in him to win a couple more majors. But he left a little early. The sport tells you when it's over. Tennis told Fed, it's over, dog.
Yeah.
Tennis told Rafa, it's over, dog.
We had another guy, Tim van Rijthoven, the Dutchman, who was
Mm-hmm.
the darling of Wimbledon's first week a couple years ago, had to retire at 28 due to an elbow injury.
Yeah.
Like,
who's the guy that Dominic Thiem?
Dominic Thiem.
I don't think he's officially retired.
He is.
Oh, he is?
He officially retired at the end of last year.
Was it? He's 26, 20, 28?
Let me look how old he is. He's 31 now.
He's 31 now. But yeah, he broke his wrist.
Yeah, tore
So-
ligaments in his wrist.
Yeah, his sport was like it's over.
Never the same.
It was like it's over, man. Sorry, dog, it's over. It happens to everybody, man. It's just the way it is. It happens. We'll be sad to see him go. But Adelia, let's wrap it up. Speaking of someone who tries to fight Father Time,
Mm-hmm.
is 7-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams, who turned 45 in June,
Mm-hmm.
has accepted a wild card invitation to compete in singles at this month's DC Open. This will mark her first tournament in over a year. She's currently listed as inactive on the WTA Tour's website. Last played an official match in Miami in 2024. Venus is back. Do we expect anything, or is it more of a
No.
Caroline Wozniacki thing where, hey, it's Caroline. Oh, bye, Caroline.
Well, I mean, Caroline, I think, would probably still be playing if she hadn't gotten pregnant for a third time. She's about to have her baby, apparently. So
A
kudos
third
to them.
time.
Yeah, they have 2 kids. This would be baby number 3.
Hey, man, congratulations, David Lee. Congratulations, man.
Congratulations to Caroline and David.
Yes.
I'm not expecting much from Venus.
Yep.
Another person we won't see for a while is Hubie Hurkacz. He underwent arthroscopic surgery last Monday, I think, to remove an overgrown synovial membrane.
That does
He
not
tore his right
sound-
meniscus at Wimbledon last year and withdrew from this year's tournament due to the ongoing pain and fluid buildup that was hampering his training.
And someone who probably got in trouble for being a little too nice, Holger Rune. Recent philanthropic efforts has created an unexpected rift between with his long-standing racket sponsor, Babolat. 2 weeks ago, the Danish tennis player launched an online shop selling personal memorabilia for charity. Among the initial items were autographed, match-worn Nike kits, tournament water bottles, towels, and 5 of his Babolat Pure Aero 98 rackets. Notably, 2 of those rackets were damaged. Babolat, a sponsor of Rune since his junior career, does not endorse product abuse. Marianne,
That's one way to put don't
yeah,
smash your rackets, please.
yeah, don't smash your records. Marianne Cornu, Babolat's tennis business leader, expresses the brand's stance to Clay in RG Media at Wimbledon. It is not our intention to promote broken rackets. We are in talks with his agent. We must be consistent with our values, so we are working on this issue with his representatives. Clay reported that one of the damaged rackets was sold, with the proceeds going to charity before Runa's team removed the listing from the shop. Despite the controversy, the 22-year-old seemed unconcerned, announcing a new drop to his shop on Sunday, which included an autographed tennis ball from this year's Wimbledon Championship. This man cannot get out of his own way.
No, he can't.
First, he listens to his mom a little bit too much. You know, nothing wrong with listening to your mother. Nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah,
But there's a point.
there is a point.
There is a point. Just like Stefanos Tsitsipas with his father, Holger Rune with his mom. There's a point where,
I would say the thing with Holger and his mom is a little less toxic than Stefanos and his dad,
yeah,
but she does seem to want to control every aspect of his life.
yeah. At certain points, you need you as you know, he's 22, so he's not a kid. He's 22.
Not a kid.
At a certain point, you need to be like, you need to be my mom, okay? Stop. You're my mother, and that's it. But you know, that's the way it is. But Adelia,
Wrapping things up, Varys.
let's wrapping things up.
Some music news.
Music news
We have discussed tennis players trying to be musicians on this show
all the
before.
time.
Dennis Shapovalov's rap songs.
You know it.
Lorenzo Sonego's EDM stuff.
That's actually pretty big.
Yeah, we've got a new one to add to the
Yeah.
mix, and I think it might end up being the biggest hit of them all.
I think it is.
Noted Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli has released a new song, Dust and Glory, featuring Bocelli singing in Italian while Yannick Sinner provides spoken verses in English.
Yes.
They is described as a tribute to the struggle between and beauty of life's journey and the fine line that turns dust into glory. There's also an accompanying 4-minute music
Yes, there
video
is.
featuring private
Yes,
footage
there
from
is.
the childhoods of both Italian stars, with current scenes filmed at Bocelli's home in Tuscany. Bocelli said, sharing this journey with Yannick was fascinating. We're from different worlds, but close in commitment and discipline in the constant search for authenticity and beauty. I have always been his fan, fascinated not only by his talent, but also by his humility and his inner strength. Sinner added, I'm very honored and happy to be part of this project with Andrea, who for 30 years has been a unique and extraordinary voice, a flag of our country in the world. I could never have imagined hearing my voice in one of his songs. All of this is a strong emotion.
Called
The
him
song is,
Andrea. Whoa. I would have called him Mr. Bocelli.
that's you.
Yeah.
I have listened to the song. It's on Spotify. I'm sure it's on other music streaming services
beautiful?
too. It's nice. It's very nice.
I gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
My friend interviewed Andrea Bocelli.
Did they?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, they did. Did they?
That's cool.
Yes, they did. Shout out to my friend Sam. Shout out to you. She's a big in the Italian scene in San Francisco here. It's a big Italian scene in San Francisco. Yo, speaking of Italians, all right. Me and my homies, we were going to get sandwiches in San Francisco.
Mhm.
We walked in. There was a they blocked off a street.
Mhm.
And we were like, what's that? What's going on? It was Italian Heritage Day. We walked into an Italian Heritage Day like block party. And we walked in, man, we got croissants filled with chocolate. My homies got some espressos. They got some espressos. There were dudes on giant stilts. Smelt of great pizza. God, it was amazing. Live music. Shout out to the Italians. That's not it. No, I was going to say some French. You know, I don't know how to say good on them. I don't know how to say that in Italian.
I don't know how to say that in
All right.
Italian either.
But I know how to say goodbye in Italian. Buongiorno, and that's French. How do you say bye in
I
Italian?
believe it's arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Thank you, Adelia. Arrivederci. My name is Ferris Muthana. You can find me at Ferris Muthana on Twitter. You can find me here every Friday, 5 o'clock on our sports channel where I talk American football with my
5
other
o'clock Pacific.
5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Me and my co-host Caleb, we talk NFC East, as well as Fridays pre-taped on our entertainment channel. It is the Buffy We Watchers show every
Angel.
Friday. Angel, Fridays 3 o'clock. Buffy's on Thursdays 3 o'clock live most of the time. Adelia, where can people find you?
You can find me on this channel, usually doing Starting 11, our Premier League recap show. That's coming back in August with our Premier League preview. And then you can probably also find me on the MCU Rewatchers Council over on the Post Credits channel. That is at 3 p.m. Pacific on Saturdays. I pop up on the Buffy and Angel ones as well. Haven't been on much lately, but my life's been a shit show, so that's probably why.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll be back with an episode of the rally to recap the finals sometime next week.
Yep, yep. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Wait, also, if you're listening on the audio feed, this has its own feed, guys. So whatever you listen, you Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, it's its own feed.
Amazon Music.
Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. It's on the rally has its own feed. Hit that like button, hit that 5 stars. We really appreciate it. We still hear you and we see you. We haven't forgotten about you. On
Yeah,
that note,
we
everyone.
split the audio feeds up, so every
Yeah.
show has its own audio feed now. So
Yes.
if you don't know that, now you do.
How you do? Thank you so much for joining us.
Links to all the main audio feeds, let's get ready network.com.
Yep. They're all in the description. But on that note, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.